Hello. It has been a long time. I have not done any YouTube videos because I've been traveling the world. Well, not the world. I just traveled to Europe. And so now I have been in the process of putting together all of the things from my trip into a journal that I can start working in. I wanted to show you kind of where I've gotten so far. So I had so much luggage was a real issue for me. I went with a medium-sized suitcase, ended up buying a small carry-on, shipping half of the stuff back in the case that I brought with me, and then ended up buying 2 more small carry-ons, and then at the end of the trip, collecting all the things that I had stashed with different friends around England and buying 2 big suitcases and bringing them home and shipping 1 small one that was just full of paper. Brochures and paper bags and everything. I saved everything. So now I have gone through and put everything together, and I'm going to do a quick flip through of this just to kind of show you where my baseline is, what I'm going to start with. I went to a scrapbooking, I have friends that are scrapbookers, and I go to these scrapbooking retreats once in a while with them, and I worked on this while I was there. So I'm very happy with how it turned out so far. It's just the basic, and now I'm going to start putting all my stuff in. But they had this paper, which is by Stamperia, whatever you want to call it. I say Stamperia, that I really loved because it had the world map, and that's going to be the cover of my, inside signature. So this is just one signature. I'm doing a book. It's going to be probably about that wide at the spine with expandable fabric because I don't know exactly how big it's going to be, but this is just my UK book. This is England, and I have one for Scotland, one for Wales, one for Ireland, that'll go in the UK book. Then I have to have another one for Italy, and then I'll do probably Croatia and Montenegro together, and I'll do a separate one for Spain. So that's kind of, my initial idea. I like this. I love this kind of steampunky look, which is really cool. Kind of reminds me of, a lot of the steampunk reminds me of like Victorian England anyway. So I'll just kind of show you where I am. So coffee dyed paper, reinforced the edge. These are all, a lot of these were elements from this paper line. Brochure of some of the places that I went in. I think this is the Cotswolds maybe. I loved this bakery. Would go there for coffee and a pastry every day. My map of London. I like this guy. I think he's cool. Kind of reminds me of we saw some men dressed really, really nicely on the tube in London, and I know they just dress up more in Europe, and I love that. So, and then shopping bags. So shopping bags, if you take them apart, make great paper or pages for your book. So I'm going to leave this the way it is here, and I'll probably do something on the back side. And this, I was fascinated with the story about the Georgian buildings, because I stayed in several Georgian buildings when I was in Ireland and in London and different parts of England, and the whole story about the windows, how they're bigger on the bottom and they get smaller as you go up because they were taxed on the number and size of windows. And in Ireland, they were talking about that's where the term daylight robbery came from, because they were taxed so heavily. Many times they would brick up some of the windows, and not because they didn't want to pay the window tax. And I just thought that was so fascinating. So they had this page in the scrapbooking paper that had these Georgian buildings on them. So I thought, well, I'm just going to put that in there. I think it looks cute. Hand wrote my story. I hate my handwriting, but my kids love it. And I have learned since my grandma passed, I have a cookbook where she wrote a little dedication to me, to my darling Karen. I hope this book brings you joy as you brought to me, or something like that. Love, Grandma. And that is the only thing I have with her handwriting, and it's so precious to me. And my kids all fight over who's going to get it when I die. So I'm just going to make copies of that page and put it into cookbooks for them. But anyway, I just my handwriting is going to mean something to my kids in the future. So I go ahead and put it in. Sometimes I write really great, sometimes I write shaky, depends how much coffee I've had for the day, so just go for it. This was the packet that I got I did a group tour for 10 days in London, and we did a lot of theater, saw a lot of art galleries, and we went to a beautiful string quartet concert at St. Martin's in the Fields. So I have lots of little brochures and things, and these are other little tickets and things that I have that I probably would, you know, I don't want to throw them out, but like this is our itinerary for the 10 days on the tour, and then some other little things. This was on my to put on my door to let them know if I wanted to have them clean or let me sleep. So, and these are, some of these pages are fragile. See, this is already tearing, so I'm gonna have to reinforce this with some washi probably. So yeah, so I just put, what I did when I glued these bags in, like I glued this bag to another bag and made it like a double page bag so I could still use it as a pocket. And I loved this place. This place was so amazing. I think it's in, geez, I don't remember, Cambridge, I think. But this art gallery, this guy had art all over. It's displayed the way it was displayed when the man lived here. He's got it displayed down low. Most people, you think they would hang the pictures higher. He has a lot of them displayed low, and they have chairs for you to sit in so you can admire the art from a sitting position, which I thought was great. Some of them were even, you know, way down here on the floor. So I thought that was really cool. Natural History Museum, that was cool. My son and I spent a lot of time in there. This was a bookmaking shop that sold beautiful paper and leather for bookbinding and string, and I didn't have the stuff to make a book, and I thought I would make the book and work in it while I was traveling. No. If I was traveling by myself, probably, but I had travel companions with me, and we ended up doing things in the evening and then just going back to the hotel or B&B and going to sleep. So if I was by myself, alone in my room at night, I probably would work in a journal. So I'll have to decide next time. But anyway, we went on the biggest wild goose chase to find this store, and we ended up at the right tube station, but we went out of the tube station, we went to the right, and we went down and around and over and up and down. And finally, when we were ready to catch a cab, my friend found it with her GPS, and she's like, okay, it's only just right across the street. So we went and we found it. And the lady at the shop goes, well, if you would have gone left out of the tube station, just went around a corner and we were right there. So GPS, don't rely on it really heavily because they do get you lost trying to go around places. This is another beautiful paper that I just love this. And it kind of reminded me of some of the beautiful gardens that I saw, and some of the what are they called? I forget what they're, medallions that go around the chandeliers and the light fixtures there that they put on the ceiling. They're sometimes gilded. It reminded me of that. So this was my favorite like fast food restaurant. I went the first time with my friend Tracy Fox, and she's vegan, so we went to this place, and I tried on her suggestion the grilled portobello with these African grains, and every time I went to Nando's I got that because it was so delicious. So thank you, Tracy, for introducing me to Nando's. But it was a great memory. We had a really lovely conversation, spent a couple of days together hanging out and shopping, and so this, when I see this, it reminds me of her. So we went to the Van Gogh exhibit, and they had sourced all of his self-portraits from all over the world, and they were all gathered in this gallery for this thing. So I just kept this part of this is the brochure that they gave us on the tour to kind of help explain everything about him to all of us. And then again, things from different museums and things I saved. I really liked the British Museum. I went and saw the Mummy exhibit, and I wanted to see I watched that movie The Dig with Ralph Fiennes, and I wanted to go see the Sutton Hoo treasure exhibit, which they didn't have very much stuff. It was only a couple pieces, which I was kind of bummed about, but I heard that it was there, but I didn't get to see very much of it. So they talked about it. Kew Gardens was amazing. And again, I just love all the packaging. Everything is so pretty. And this is another, I think, thing that they gave us, yes, about Kew Gardens on the tour. So we went there when I was on the group tour. Took this thing of these little bees. I just love this. Oh, they're so cute. So I buy postcards here and there, you know, and I put this in here mostly to just stabilize the page, but it's also a great writing board. This tea place, if you like tea, oh my God, it's kind of close to Piccadilly Circus, not very far from Fortnum and Mason. I bought this at Fortnum and Mason, but they have some amazing tea in big giant jars, and they'll take it out. You ask them, you know, tell them the type of tea. They have hundreds of teas, and they'll open up the jar and let you smell the tea. See if it, you don't get to taste them, but you can smell them. And they're a little pricey, but if you're a tea lover, let me tell you, this is the place to go. A bunch of tea here from my friend Marina in Wales. So this is like all the places that they bring all their teas from, which I thought was cool. And then I had this little card that was so cute that had all these little cakes. So I'm going to do some kind of a tea spread, because we did go to tea a few times. And I saved every tag off of everything that I bought. You know, like this is the tag that came, I think, on my one of the suitcases I bought. So I'm just going to use it maybe as a page topper or something, you know, or a tuck spot or something. But I just, I save everything. And I know I'm not alone in that. I know everybody else saves a lot of things too. And I did throw a lot of stuff away when I came back after I kind of pulled out what I knew I was going to use and what I wanted to keep. And I threw a bunch of it in my trash can, and my little grandson was going through the garbage, and he brings me a piece of paper. Yeah, can I have this? And I said, he goes, it was in the trash. I said, yeah, you can have it. He goes run into his room to grab his little scissors. He goes, yeah, I need it for my collection. He comes out and he's cutting. So he's really into cutting things up. And I'm gonna work with him next time he comes back from his dad's, get him a little, you know, have a bunch of those little journals that you buy, like a set of 3 journals. And we're gonna decorate it up and give him some blank pages that he can start sticking his things down, because I'm gonna teach him how to journal. But he's loving it, and he cuts all the teeny tiny little pieces, and then I go to sweep them into the bin. He's like, no, don't throw my papers away. Those are my papers. Those are my special papers. So I have to stick them in an envelope, and then he puts them. So that's why I need to give him a book, so we can start putting everything in the book. Give him a glue stick. He is my grandchild for sure. So I just kept a couple of things about the Cotswolds, because we went a couple of times. I have friends that live there, and we stayed with them on 2 different parts of the trip. So I love this page. So that round clock thing, this piece, where is it? In the beginning here. This was in the middle, and I just cut it out really carefully. And then this was on another page. But I just love how this trip was possible and inspired by my husband. He and I wanted to travel a lot when we retired. And I used, you know, some of his life insurance money to take this trip. So he was my guardian angel on the trip. So I really wanted to kind of commemorate him in the book in some way. And so I thought this would be a good thing. Again, more maps, and I hadn't decided how I was going to use it, but I just, you know, sometimes you get a page that I knew I wanted to put this train at the top, but then on this side it looked kind of weird, so I just tore a piece of coffee dyed paper and stuck it on there, you know, and then I put a little thing about, you know, the time that we had in the Cotswolds with my friends. Paper bags are great for pages. I'd had one book that I made entirely of paper bags, but I like mixing it up with all the different shopping bags and things. This is a map of Hampton Court. There's not a lot. I think I'm gonna do this, cut this out and make this a fold out in the book, and do some stuff on the other part. That place was amazing. King Henry VIII's palace. It was really fun. We saw a lot of castles and churches in Europe, but that's where the beautiful architecture and everything is. So here's my map of the Cotswolds, and I put little, little things around where we went. And then I have this for, future trips too. I can add more stuff in. And this is the other side of the Kew Gardens bag, which I just used this paper and then put it around just to make the page a little more strong, because this bag is very flimsy. This was another brochure. I ended up covering it with coffee dyed paper so I could put a lot of photos in here. I took so many photos, and I gotta figure out how to do it on my printer, but I want to print the little 2x3 photos so I can put some in and journal around it. And this side has all of the the things that I saw there, and I may still cover some of this up too. Put some pictures and things. Like this is from the Sutton Hoo exhibit, the mummies. And I breezed through everything. I went through these two halls really slowly, but there's so much to see there, and I kind of just ran through it quickly. Again, just little, mostly just little, this place, when I look at this, and I have to put like a coffee, or I'll put a little card in here and tell the story, but I was coming back to London from Wales. I'd gone to Wales to visit my friend, and I stopped in, Cardiff, to change buses, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I run in to use the restroom and get a coffee and a pastry, right? And as I'm ordered my thing, I thought, okay, I'll go to the restroom while they're making my coffee. And I turn around, and somehow I had 2 suitcases, of course, and I turn around and I trip over my suitcase, and I just go man down right in the middle, flat on my face in the middle of a really busy coffee shop. And the guy that made my coffee comes running around, and he helps me up. He's like, "Are you okay, ma'am?" And of course I'm mortified. So I just take my stuff and I run in the restroom, collect myself, and scrape my twisted my ankle and scraped my knee, but I was limping for the rest of the day, but I was okay. But it's so embarrassing. So to be really careful with those suitcases, because they were so packed that they were heavy in the front, and when I stood it up, it always just fell down, and and I'm clumsy to begin with. So I was telling Tracy, and I usually hurt myself and end up having to go to the hospital on every trip I take, and luckily there was a hospital right across the street from my hotel, but I didn't have to go to that hospital. But I did have to go in Ireland when I got COVID. But that's a story for another day. So anyway, yeah, this is the rest of that paper that other red house was on. I just kind of trimmed it down and put it there. And so this is basically the signature for England, because I spent all totaled probably a month and a half in England, around and about everywhere, in 2 separate trips, or 2 separate parts of the trip, the early part and kind of in the middle. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going through this and working in this, and putting together things and telling you guys about my trip, and all the fun I had, the amazing people that I met, and if you love to travel and you're just putting it off for, whatever your reasons are, find a way to do it, because I am telling you, it is so worth it. It was so healing. It's enriching. It just filled my soul, and I can't put it any differently than that. But I came back a completely different person than I was when I left. And I was afraid, I was anxious. I don't know if I can do this. But, I learned so many things from my husband about traveling before he passed away, that I was able to go and take the things I learned from him, and even things that I didn't realize that I had learned from him. I was able to book tickets in Italy in Italian, and we ended up at the right destination, and booking cars in Italian and in Croatian, because we couldn't figure out how to switch it over to English. Still managed to do it. You know, so there was a lot of driving on the other side of the road, driving in cities with tiny little lanes that were, you know, made for Roman carts back in the Roman days, not for, you know, cars. And all the cars are really tiny and they're stick shift, and which I can drive a stick, that's not a problem. But I just learned that I know a lot more than I thought I did, that I am braver than I thought I was, and that anything is possible if you just take a leap of faith and try. I met so many beautiful people along the way that I had met online and then connected with them in person when I was there. So I highly, highly recommend that you travel, even if it's just to the closest big town near you for a couple of days and spend the night and play tourist in your town. Like I live close to San Francisco, about an hour away. My daughter lives there, and I've been to her house, her old house once, and to her current house once. I never go there. So taking the opportunity to go and play tourist in that town, and my daughter's a great tour guide because she lives there and she's lived there for a long time and she knows everything, and just have that experience, you know. So if you've got a someplace like that and you're into traveling, definitely do it, because it is really fulfilling and really enriching. Okay, so I'm going to sign off for today, and I will be back. I'm going to work on the cover next, and we'll chat a little bit more about things. Hope you're well. Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon. Bye.